through the lot, now you know I'm coming through. When the growth look good on you, best believe they wanna screw now. I've been trying to climb, devil threw me in the dark. Baby, don't be insecure, you can still go make a mark like blow. Could never let them drain my soul now. Blow. Tables turning like doorknobs, wow. Blow. I think I'm about to set sail. I'm a walking, living legend, walking with my chest out. Life keep dealing me cards, I keep fitting in love.
Yes. People, we're back in the building, man. We're back and we're live. We are live over on GTV. I know you guys are sick of myself, Jerry, and Roms appearing on your screens, but we're here again, man. The trio is back again. Obviously, I'm joined by Roms and Jerry. Lads, how you both doing, man? How you both doing?
Good, bro.
Chat to me, bro. We ain't spoken in a minute, man. I was hearing, yo, I'm good, man. I just had a baby too. I don't know, man. Anything. Let me know.
Just waiting, bro. Literally just waiting for the season to end and enjoying other clubs other than ours, man. But other than that, I'm good, bro. I'm blessed. What about yourself?
Bro, I'm good, man. Obviously, we just jumped off of Jerry's. We got Jerry again every time. Guys, if you haven't already, make sure you head over to the Jerry James Show. Me and Jerry just quickly chopped it up in regards to Liverpool and what next in terms of like transfers, whole Jude Bellingham, fast, and everything like that, man. But obviously today, and big up everyone in the chat, I'm going to get to all the comments in a second. If you haven't already, please make sure you are liking and subscribing to the channel if you haven't done so. Today, let's talk, man. Let's talk. Obviously, we wanted to speak about Trent Alexander-Arnold, his new kind of role for Liverpool, so to speak. Obviously, we saw him appear in a kind of a different kind of role in terms of DM. I remember Jerry speaking about it during the game, talking about Trent kind of appearing in that DM role. And then I was back because I'm seeing him still at right back, still trying to defend and blah, blah, blah. Like, we don't seem to know. But Klopp obviously knows, and he's obviously spoken about, you know, he came out after speaking about Trent in this new position and stuff like that. First and foremost, guys, when we're looking at Trent and we're looking at the kind of role that Klopp used him in that game, just specifically in that one game, do you guys think, and we'll get into everything properly in a minute, do you guys think that that's a role made for him, or do you think that that was a bit mismatchy, or what was your kind of thoughts behind it? Ron, Jerry, whoever.
Just keep it short and sweet. For me, a lot of our fans are going head over heels for Trent in this role, but for me, just to nip it in the bud, the sample size is a bit too small. Like, I need to see him in more games in this role, but we know our manager's stubborn. Like, I think he'll go back to that, and I think it's because of the opposition we were up against as well, where we could hurt them from that kind of half space where we know Trent expertise is in. I think that's why I kind of deployed him there. But for me, I think it's too premature to say, yeah, move him there. But on the flip side, I get it, because it's like we're seeing the same stuff, playing the same way and getting the same results. But I need to see more of him in that role. So I'm for it. I know start of the season, after had many shows saying his awareness isn't the greatest and whatnot, and there was a few times where he did get caught in the wilderness against Arsenal. People don't want to mention this, but I saw him in that role looking lost. Yeah, his attacking prowess, we know what he provides, but a couple times the other way, yeah, man, he looked lost in that midfield bit. But I would like to see it more, just to see if he can actually consistently play there. That's my view on that.
I'm sure. Jerry, chat to me, man. What was he looking at for you during the game? And like I said, when you were speaking, and obviously you were saying DM, and I was like, "Are you sure, bro?" Because I'm seeing right back in that. Like, I don't know. Like, let me know.
Yeah, washed. I think that Purcell, man, Ariel, Surf, Daz. He's just not. For me, Klopp and Trent decided to go and do what, and I spoke about it on my channel. Just decided to do what City did to us. So. They knew in that game, well, Klopp, Linders and everyone knew that Arsenal, when they defend with a full press from the front. So they essentially go man for man and try press in the final third. Very similar to how what Liverpool tried to do against City. And what Klopp realised is that Stones was causing us a massive problem, because Stones was coming in field, Akanji was pulling out, and it made a 3 at the back, which meant that obviously the striker doesn't know which centre back to go and press because he's trying to press both. But then there's a clear pass from Akanji, or the right-sided centre back, into the forward man, which was Mahrez in that game. Now against City, we tried to do the same thing. So allow Konate to go and try find Salah with that first-time pass. Trent was going into that space, but on the ball, he was terrible in that first half. In terms of getting on the ball, being an option for Konate to go and pass to. If you look at the pass completion in that first half, it was really, really bad. We kind of got through the game because of passion, sweat, determination, and grit. Now, as you're seeing there, loads of key passes and stuff in terms of later on in the game. But he spammed a lot of crosses in. He made the most crosses in the team. I expect that from him. Essentially, what we did though is we allowed Trent to hide. And what I mean by that is that formation allowed him to hide, because what it did on the ball, in a sense, because what it did meant that Konate was picking up with the ball in the positions that Trent usually picks up the ball. So those over the top passes into Jota, into Salah, it was essentially now Konate doing that. So in this position, Trent Alexander-Arnold's positioning, his ability to go and, for example, find the Salah, he's having to find Salah out wide. Usually Trent's out wide and Salah's in essentially in the width of the 18-yard box, and he's playing passes into him there, being very direct. We weren't in this scenario, and for me, it wasn't a great shape. It was very reactionary for me in terms of Klopp just said, we're going to do the same thing. But there's no thought process. You could see Verge and Konate didn't really have their distances on lock. Go back to Jesus' goal, evidence of that. And that's on the ball. Defensively, what this meant as well is that Trent obviously had to go and cover Konate as well. So what would happen is that if we lost the ball, if Trent gave the ball away, Martinelli they tried to find Martinelli to isolate Konate down that our right-hand side, their left. And Trent had, instead of tucking in and dropping in to make a third centre-back, as you're seeing there, he never did that. He actually sprint across to Konate to go and help double up and team up, because he knows he can't leave Konate out wide by himself. Verge, however, didn't go and follow across because it would mean that Robert would have to follow across as well. Robert was still keeping width. So it meant that we got caught out. You go and look at Jesus' goal. You look at Martinelli's goal. Very, very similar. Very, very similar. So it wasn't a great experiment. But, I mean, we drew the game. We should have won the game. So it's a tactic that worked. If we lose that game 2-1 or 2-0, is everyone looking at that thinking, rah, what a performance from Trent? I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah, at that point.
Nah,
and
I
for me,
agree with both, but
the reason why it played into Trent's hands as well, if we're being honest, Arsenal stopped playing. They thought, you know what? I feel like Peter Steve got them like, we've been here before. Let's go against the grain this season and not still trying to go gung-ho. They started to be very... And you kind of got to respect them. I saw a different side to them. They started to be very defensive resilient, because if you've watched them from start to finish in all but probably a few Prem games this season, yeah, in fact, all of them, I'll say, apart from this one at the weekend, they will still dominate possession, try and kill teams off. You saw the personnel of their subs, Kivior for Odegaard. Like, a lot of, as you two will know, a lot of my friends and family are Gooners. They were fuming at that, because that sub alone, they accepted, we're not going for this anymore. We'll let Liverpool have the ball. So, for me, when a lot of our fans were going over the top of Trent and whatnot, I said it's also the other team, because they are the best. They're the best team in the country. Obviously, the table don't lie. If they were to carry on playing how they know how to play, trust me, you wouldn't have saw the same Trent. That's why I was telling some Liverpool fans just to keep a lid on it, because this was this one game in isolation. But that is why I want to maybe continue seeing him in this role, to see if it was just a flash in the pan or he can actually sustain this.
Bro, I'm with you both, actually. Especially what you just said there at the end, Ron, about... I'd have to see him more. The sample size is a bit too small to see if it will work or not. But then I also agree with what Jerry was saying in terms of whatever Klopp asked him to do, I don't really feel like he did it. I feel like it was just more of a case of you've almost taken the responsibility of being a defender away from him now, because you've told him, cool, you can come in the centre. Like, you can actually now play in the centre. We don't need you in these other areas. Like, when we're taking a look here. I don't now. You can sit next to Fabinho, and it's not even a problem anymore. Before, what we used to always see was Trent was on the overlap, or just maybe even on the underlap next to Salah, but he'd be in Henderson's position as an example. Now we're seeing, obviously, in that game anyway, we're seeing Trent obviously playing defensive midfield. So then, as Jerry said, like when it comes case to do this, when we're going back the other way, Trent's not really doing that now, because I don't expect Trent to be going back into centre back position. He's not a centre back.
But that's my point. But sorry to interrupt, but that's my point. Is if you go and look at any other DM that goes at players at the 3 at the back, or if you're doing that and they're playing as a pivot, what happens? The centre back goes out wide. Yeah, the centre back goes out wide because he's got to stop the cross coming in. And who goes and tucks in? Declan Rice has done it. We've had, do you know what I mean? We've had Bearman do it. We've had Louise and Zuma do it. When Mourinho done it, Stones done it. That's what you would go and see. The difference is that they're on the ball so much, so you're not realising it. But defensively, that's what happens. He goes and tucks back in at right back, and you have a Kanji. At centre back, and you have a Kanji that's at right back for a bit. Trent hasn't got the defensive awareness, so that's the problem with him. Is that we're playing him in a DM position, but his issue is always from a defensive standpoint. So we're still then left lacking, because defensively, where did the 2 goals both came down the left hand side, even with this formation. So we haven't really stopped that. We haven't really like mitigated that situation. All we've done is put him in a different position. He had a decent game because at the end of it, he went and nuts Zinchenko and put the ball into the box. If you don't get an assist, did he have that a great game? I don't think so. I don't think so.
And you know, to add to what JJ said, you know, when he's saying that the candies and whatnot, your DM, sorry, you then fill in that gap. How many times did we see Thomas Partey during that back 5 literally collect the ball and burst out of it? And could you go back to I think it's 2 frames back, the one where Trent's passing it to Salah, because JJ made a point, because he's playing the defensive midfield role. Yeah, Salah was more touchline, and this is why, for me, you're going to get a lot of Liverpool fans saying Salah had a good game. He was running at the back 4 a lot. But for me, it was the complete opposite. Because Trent was taking up that role, whenever he played it to Salah, look how quick Gabriel's on him. Because Salah was out there, Gabriel could just read it time and time again. That's why Gabriel had such a good game. Because the minute Salah had it, he was touch tight. He kept nicking it off him. But then you get the pass completion stats saying, Trent completed a lot. Because it was a basic pass, and the pass didn't really have that much purpose because he's playing it into Salah. Salah's having a run, and it's not really that successful. So... yeah, man, I think this Trent talk being in this role is a bit too premature. But I'm not going to be ignorant and say, that's it now. Let's see him more in it, because if I see more performances against this and it's looking slightly better, then maybe I think it's just way too early.
No, bro. I agree, man. And I think it's all of the things. I think this all boils out of the whole Trent playing in midfield. You guys got your wish. Liverpool fans out there, ones that are screaming for Trent to play. He played midfield now. He played midfield. As Jerry said, he had a decent game. Let me not even front and act like he played shit. He definitely did not play shit. And I felt like even with him in that position, I still didn't see anything that made me think, put Trent in that position moving forward. And the reason why I say that is that when you do look at it like this, ultimately, you've got Konate, as Jerry just said a second ago. When you've got Konate and Verge, who haven't really got their space between each other, like on point, really like that. There's only 2 of them back there. There's no one else to help defend it. When Stones is there, Rom's just mentioned Partey. When they form back in, when Partey then falls back into a back 3. With Manchester City, they've already got 3 back there anyway. They've already got their 3 centre backs or 3. Let me just say 3 defenders, because they play all different.
Deep it, G. Their fullbacks are naturally centre backs anyway.
Exactly. But this is what I'm saying, and hence the reason why I feel a tactic like this can work for them, because all their fullbacks are playing in this kind of position where it's almost like they're not gonna go. So like, I'm not gonna always see Ake where Robertson is. Do you get under? Like, I don't think I'd rarely think I would realistically see that kind of thing, because he's not. That's not where his area of the game is going to be. equally on the other side where Salah is, I don't think I would then see Akanji up there. Like I rarely ever see these guys up there putting in crosses and doing all of these crazy kind of things. So when I'm seeing them do it, I think the reason why it then works for them, hence why Stones can then just slot back into centre back, or Rodri, whoever it is, slot straight back in there, is because of the way that they do it. Now, the way we're trying to do it is, I understand. We're trying to almost do the Arsenal thing. Arsenal copying Manchester City, and we're trying to copy Arsenal. So we're going from B-Tech to just, I don't even know now. So where you're trying to copy Arsenal, remember, the way Arsenal do it, they still allow for Thomas Partey to be able to slot back in there to make the three. But the three all have the cohesion. Obviously, with one game, it might change. You're trying to put Trent Alexander-Arnold to say, all right, when we're defending, I need you to go centre back. What? I can't even defend that right back. You want me to go into centre back and start and trying to read the game and make sure I've got my positions and make sure I've got the space and the line is all. But that's not going to work, bro. That's not going to work. Now, going forward, I get it. He was able to play passes. He did exactly what he always does, but just in the middle of the pitch. So now the question is moving forward. Go on,
what you're saying. That's why, I wasn't so blown away by it, because we see this. It's just a bit further to the right. Do you know what I mean? Sorry, I just thought I'd chime in there.
No. But that's all it is. So I'm just like, so I'll ask you both this question. Do you think it's a case of we can continue moving this forward and it will just take time? Or you think that next season, hence why the title is, who needs to buy a DM when you've got Trent? Do you just move Trent into that sixth position, buy another right back, and then you can still play your four at the back? Do you think you'll still get the same impact from Trent moving forward? Or do you think it just won't look the same again? Anyway.
Me personally, no. Because if you look at it tactically, there's a difference between floating into space and arriving into space and getting a goal or getting an assist than there is playing up front or in centre mid and having to get the assist. So when Salah goes and starts out wide, for instance, and floats into those central positions and makes that movement, he gets loads of goals. When he plays up front, we all sit around and say he's not good up front. We don't like him playing as a target man because it's a completely different role. When Lampard got all of his goals from, for Chelsea, he didn't ever went and played up front. He played just behind because he's able to float around and get into positions, get onto the ball. That's completely different to actually playing in that situation. If Trent's playing in DM, we're expecting him when that right back bombs forward, and don't get twisted, the right back's going to have to bomb forward sometimes because he's going to have to go and create angles. So even if he's not bombing forward and he's delivering bare crosses, he's going to have to make overlapping runs. Your Gary Nevilles, your whoever made overlapping runs, your Steve Finnans, they all made overlapping runs, right? When he makes that overlapping run to go and support Salah when he's on the ball or support Trent when he's on the ball, Trent's going to go and have to cover right back. And we're still going to be in situations where he's going to be left one-on-one. The same way Arias is left one-on-one, the same way we saw Jabi Alonso left one-on-one, sometimes the same time, so many times we saw Gerrard even left one-on-one later on in his career when he played as a quarterback. You saw it. So for me, that's the biggest issue. Where he's playing, where I would actually play him is I'd play him in that kind of Mark Albrighton role, that 4-4-2 type of role where he's a right mid, he's got cover behind him, he's also got a forward to play into. There's two centre mids. The problem you've got there is that you've got to work really hard when you're doing that. Like from a defensive standpoint also. That's his biggest issue, unfortunately. He's a luxury player.
Agree.
When you ain't got a luxury of playing him, you can't play him. And that's why England don't play him. Not because of his abilities, because he's a luxury player. Why did Arsenal get rid of Ozil? Because he's a luxury player. When things are rosy, he was great. When the times get tough and they've got to defend and they've got to work, and you just can't do it. And that's just the type of player he is. He isn't. But the problem with him, he's not. When I look at, for example, Reece James, when Reece James played against Liverpool, I saw him get the ball. There's three men next to him. He done some left foot, right foot, skipped past them and played the pass into him. Has Trent got the ability to go and do that? Now, don't tell me that nuts against Zinchenko says anything. Like that one. No step over Suarez.
Is it just me? Was it just me, or that was a bit of luck? If we're being honest, that he meant it, But
Bro,
like,
it's
like,
the smallest of gaps, you know. Like it was like ball width
I know,
gaps
but the
that
way-
he had to put it through there, you know.
I'm not taking anything away from him, but you know, like we've all kicked ball. He meant it, but when it pulled off, he was surprised. But he can't show he's surprised. So like, because it pulled off, he just knew about putting it in the box. But deep down, he's like, "Rah, this pulled off." But he didn't actually believe.
But even the ball in the box was kind of like, ooh, I don't know, like Firmino kind of had to like stretch to
Probably
get
have
it.
to
Like,
do more of the work, kind of. Like, I don't want to take anything from Trent, but like Jay was saying, like, don't
nah,
look
let's
at
take everything. Man.
think of like wow kind of thing. Like, I think that was more. It kind of just happened. It pulled off. It was off the cuff. But I don't think he actually believed that.
Yeah, and it's like when I'm looking at it, what does he have? What do you see in his game? We wanted to go and get Bellingham, right? That looks like it's off the cards. We wanted to Chouameni. That's obviously off the cards. We're looking at players like Nunes, Neves has been talked about, Caicedo. Why have they all got? They've either got ridiculous ability and awareness to go and play in terms of touch, like letting the ball run past their body, touching their left foot into space, shifting it onto their right, playing the pass, or they're mad rapid and athletic. He's got neither. He's got a ball. He's got a long ball. Does he have a touch of a Mahrez or like a touch of a Thiago? No, he doesn't. He's got a ridiculous long ball. So if you're going to play him, you need to maximize that, which is fair, but that's a luxury. So as an example, if you get the graphic up again, like, you know, of the movement of the players, yeah, because I got something, I want to show something. Yeah, you'll see here, right? If Trent's going to play in this position, there's two things that we need. Robertson, in this case, for build-up purposes, has to be deeper.
Yeah,
has to be deeper. So you've got to come right deep. You've got to go back to how Chelsea won the league with Conte and all of that type of stuff, right? With Aspilicueta and all of that type of thing. Robertson's got to come deeper because they've got to build up with a 3. So when they're deep, I know they build up with Alisson as a 2, so Robertson can be high. When we've got the ball, when Verge gets the ball, Robertson's essentially got to come deeper because Van Dijk's going to be in the middle and Konate is going to be a bit wide. If Trent's playing in that position, that's fine. Konate, unfortunately, can't be the centre-back there. And I'll tell you why. Because in that game, he struggled a lot with finding his man and finding passes. Defensively, he's solid, of course. But finding passes, build up from the back was a massive, massive problem for him. Now, he's fine on the ball. He's fine. But he's not like a tech. You don't look at him and think, yeah, like your Thiago Silva at the back or your Marquinhos at the back or your Aspilicueta playing right back or your that type of thing. So he's not going to be able to go and find Salah and pop it around the corner into Salah at a level. He's not going to be able to go and thread the ball into Henderson consistently. He's not going to be able to. So what you saw a lot of the time is that they just left Konate on the ball. Martinelli, what he was able to do is he actually followed Trent, and I done it on my show. He followed Trent around and done a man marking job on Trent because they allowed Konate on the ball. Because they knew, go on Konate, try find Salah. Gabriel's right up on him. He just man marked him. We had Zinchenko following Henderson. Go on, pop it into there. I dare you. He doesn't try. They know Henderson's touch ain't going to be great. If it goes into Salah, Gabriel's going to try manhandle him. That caused a massive issue. So Konate can't be the centre back there, which means we've got to go and get another centre back. If we don't get a right back, cool. Henderson now. Henderson will actually, what he was doing is when Salah would drop to go and offer support for Konate, so he'd kind of make show down the line. Henderson was actually running Zinchenko into the channels. So he'd be running Zinchenko into those channels. Now, when he was doing that, that's great. And there was a couple of times he got into those positions. But then you need a better number 8. You can't have Henderson doing that. You need a better number 8. So now you need to go and buy a number 8 that can go and do that. We saw Kante was doing that for a bit, but it didn't really work. Remember, Chelsea tried to go and do this. They tried to play him as an advanced 8 because of his legs. Didn't really work.
You know what? JJ saying that.
It didn't really go on.
Sorry to cut you saying that right though. Last night, the first 20 minutes against Madrid, that Kante advanced 8 was working. It actually was, to be fair. So
Kante's a weak guy, bro.
I didn't watch the game, so I don't know. But that's what I'm saying. So what you would have is Henderson would either go out wide sometimes and allow Salah to come in, or Salah, he'd make that run. Henderson, instead of the arrows pointing towards Salah, he was making the run into that space. So it would end up with a front three of Henderson, Gakpo, and Jota. That's essentially what was happening.
I get you.
Now, if he's making that run into there, you need a completely different type of midfielder. But the problem is that he's not going to be as defensively astute. So you're going to require Fabinho now to be so good that you can essentially help out Trent and mop out to allow that luxury. And Konate, or that right-sided centre-back, is going to have to be key, because he's going to have to be a ball-playing right centre-back that's got pace, he's got power, he's got strength, but can also pass. He can dictate, he can marshal the back line. He can also step into midfield if he has to. You're looking at a unicorn type of centre-back. So now we need a unicorn type of centre-back. You need a unicorn type of number 8, because now you need a number 8 that not only can cover defensively and stop the passing lanes into Martinelli, into these players, he has to go and make sure he's bombing on. I don't know how that works. It's creating more problems now, because Trent isn't a complete player. He's not like a Kimmich, where Kimmich started off at centre mid and went right back. He's not like a James, where he's had a season playing as a midfielder. Like, I know people are talking about Trent, and Trent's got a ridiculous long pass. Henderson is supremely better in midfield than Trent is in midfield.
100%.
Like, I don't think you understand the amount of games that my man has played at centre mid. So to go and say that Trent can come in and we don't need a DM and he can do this, I think it's a bit disingenuous, because man hasn't played centre mid nowhere near enough the amount of games. Exactly. Like, Arthur's 10 times better than him in midfield. So yes, you're playing him because of that world-class ability to go and play that pass, because that can change a game. That's fine. But then you need all the other components doing the work, and we haven't got that at the moment. So I don't know how that works.
And then, like JD said, what about when you find...
They got Luge, man. They got Luge every time.
They got Luge. What about, like JD said, you're playing him in that middle role because of his world-class ability, or his world-class pass, should we say. What about when you find a team that nullifies that the back four can just keep cleaning up? What does he then offer? And this is my point. When JJ was saying Hendo's supremely better than him, that's what I alluded to at the start of the video. The sample size is too small, and you're going to get fans that saying in the academy, yeah, but that was his natural role. We've all kicked ball. Academy football and first team is it's a whole different level. So, because I've had this conversation, it's actually amazing you're doing this, Vidji, because since the Arsenal game, that has literally been the trending topic. Should Trent play midfield? You see it everywhere. And big up yourself for doing a video on it. And I know JD's touching it a lot on his channel as well. But for me, we can't just jump the gun with this. We can't. And a lot of the things I've been hearing from Top Reds the last 2-3 days is, but this was his natural position. And it goes back to what us three were saying off air sometimes, that have you really kicked the ball? Because you will know, playing that role in academy and then first team, it's a complete different pressure. You're going to have different objectives, maybe goals, let's finish top 6 or going for a title, whatnot. You can't just be playing him there. And that's why I want to find who said it. It was whilst you two were speaking. ADAJ3, he said at 5:27, if we are going to experiment with Trent's position, the time is now. The reason why I agree with this, because I think I can speak for you two in this as well. Season's done. There's nothing really to get from this season. Let's just experiment the last 8 games. That is actually the way I see it. So for me, I do want to see Trent in his role, because let's see it as an audition. I still don't think Trent will, even if he, you know what? I'm kind of contradicting myself here, because even if he has a good 8 games, I still don't think this will be sustainable to last into next season. But let's try it, because if he passes the audition or he looks good, then lease is still something we can maybe start next season doing. And then if it goes tits up, we then change it. But I do agree with this, because right now we're not really playing for anything. I think the experiment time is now.
It's all funny. I can't lie, man. Supporting Liverpool, watching Liverpool this season, I feel like we've had to become financial advisors. We've had to become coaches, analytical, whatever that term is. Like, we've had to just become everything about the club, because everything we're watching at the moment is just weird. It's just very, very weird. And even what Klopp did, again, even doing that, it was like you didn't want to sacrifice having 4 at the back, because your principles are to play 4 at the back. Totally get it. And this is obviously for JJ. King Cops asking, What do you lose on playing Trent right mid? And the reason why I wanted to put that up was because Jerry literally touched on it as he sent that message in. And I was like, I kind of agree there though, because I prefer to have him on that, keep him on that right-hand side. Just remove the responsibility of just having to defend. Because the reality of the situation is you can see that he doesn't really want to do that. He's never really wanted to do that. Hence the reason why he probably has gotten so good at going forward, because he's like, if I can keep showing the manager that I can do this, he ain't going to keep asking me to go the other way. So at least in that way, we can then tailor our game towards, and you got to realize we tailored our game, not because of him and Robertson, it's because of him. Robertson was just the caveat to that. Let's not even, because if it was only Robertson, I promise you now, Liverpool are not playing down the wings. No, why would we play down the wings? What, so no tech Robbo could be putting the balls in the box? I'm good, man. I don't need the game of chances and percentages and stuff like that. I don't really want to work like that. Trent is because of his long passing, because of his passing range, being able to find a man, the way that Liverpool want to build up from the back, which is, I guess, long balls, second balls, and all these kind of stuff, trying to find that space in behind. That's why when I'm looking at someone like Trent in that position, I'm just like, I hear it. And I'm with Roms on one side, where Roms is saying, you know what, end of the season, we ain't got niche to play for. Why not just try it and see what happens? What's the worst that could potentially happen, in this kind of situation, which I get. But then I'm just like, there's got to be some type of sense to it as well, though. You're not just, I get you trying to do certain things, but there's got to be a sense to it. Now, sample size is tiny. We don't know. I don't know how this will look next season, whether he now thinks, because Jerry named Ruben Neves, I think he said Caicedo, I think he said Declan Rice was the other player that you named. I think he was just talking a minute ago. Bro, all three of those players are different players, but they all play in the six. So now I'm like, okay, so what type of midfielder do you think we're looking for now? Because then Trent, let's say you even want to add Bajcetic as well, and then you want to add in Trent and Fabinho, but they're all different. They all do different things. Yeah, maybe a couple of them are quite similar in terms of roughly what they do, Fabinho, Caicedo, but the rest of them, they're all different. Neves is different to Rice.
Really?
Rice is different to Trent. So, and when you've got Trent in the team, the build-up play and everything you do has to change. So then that's why I'm a bit like, so what are we actually trying to do? That, I think that's the bit that was confusing me. What are we trying to do? How are we trying to play? Because you're putting all of these guys in this position. Henderson, when he plays there, Henderson can't do no long ranges. Henderson ain't out here doing no tech like Thiago. He definitely ain't tackling like that. He's coming there for the passion, the intensity. He's there to kind of rile up the game. So
he's the third runners. I've deeped it. He's the one making the runs, because Salah doesn't make runs anymore. Salah doesn't make runs anymore. And that's why Henderson's actually important to playing on our team, because when he's playing, he's the only one of our midfielders that actually makes runs off the ball into space. Only one. Thiago comes to the ball. Fabinho's obviously not doing that. Elliott comes to the ball. Coach Jones comes to the ball. He's the only one. He's the only one, and that's why I go and talk about is we have players that can do that, but he hasn't allowed them to, because he wants this sort of discipline type of running forward. This kind of and Klopp's, and Hendo does what Klopp asks him to do to a T. He tells him, I want you to run here, but also want you to defend here. And he's like, got it, roger that, and he does it. So that's the problem you've got. And we're looking for a unicorn type of player, because you can get a player that can go and make those runs all day long. But are they going to have the talent of a Modric as well on top of that? That's what Liverpool are looking for. They think Bellingham's that guy. He isn't even that guy. I know it's
just saying Lavia. What are you man saying about Lavia?
But again, like Lavia as well, great player. He's not going to do that. Name me a midfielder that makes third man runs into midfield, into the forward line, but selfish ones where he doesn't get the ball. It's just to go and create space. I don't know another midfielder that does that in world football.
JJ makes a very good point, because I didn't even clock that too tough effect. I didn't clock it while I was watching games, but now when I'm looking back, it's true. You even saw it for the chance just before half time to make it 2-2. When he skied it, no one else is even getting that chance because they're not arriving late. So,
and that's my point, is that he's going and it's the selfish runs. It's Salah's got the ball. I don't want Salah to pass it to me. He's not there to pass it to me right now, because if I pass, I'm just going to pass it back. And look, I'm going to be an option there. I'm going to make that run into midfield. I'm going to force Zinchenko to have to make a decision. Do they play me or they don't? And if Henderson's done that his whole career, I just don't see you get another midfielder that does that, but has also got everything else in the locker. Like it just doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. But it's just the way that we've decided to go and play. And Henderson always does that. Henderson's either making overlapping runs for Trent because Trent's not making them, and Salah needs an overlapping run, or he's breaking into the box and he's breaking in between Bobby or Mane and Salah, and he's making a run in between them to go and create space for Salah or Mane to get on the ball or to come deep or whatever. That's all he's doing. And yeah, so it's like we're looking at unicorn type players, but we've got a unicorn
I
type
love this
player.
term unicorn, by the way. I'm gonna have to coin that one. So.
Yeah, we've got a unicorn type player in Trent, and we've just gone and said, yeah, we need to get another unicorn now. We're going to need a right-sided centre back, as I said, that can do everything. That can go into DM, very comfortably. Can play right centre back. He can play right back. He can maybe even play right wing, because that's the way we're going to have to play. And I don't know if you guys have seen it. How I've seen Aspilicueta so many times do 1-2s, and he's playing at right centre back and he's delivering the ball into the box.
Oh, yeah,
because that's what's going to happen. If Trent's in advanced positions, they're going to go, and a team can't be everywhere. They're going to be like, look, if Konate's got the ball, if that right centre back's got the ball, who would you rather have in that position? Do you want Trent in that position, or do you want Konate in that position? Go on, have Konate, and it actually makes it easier to defend. I'm telling you now, if someone told me, there's a breader in our team that can whip a ball from deep and it just causes us issue, like standard centre back, like standard Sunday league. Everyone's played Sunday league, right? You've got a breader that can just hit a ball far, right? And he's causing us problems. It's going over the head of the centre backs the whole game. If he just ends up playing in centre mid, unless he's going to now show me a different style of play, like he's dropping out the shoulder, he's popping it through a man's leg, he's doing a 1-2 and causing us a different issue. That issue's now gone. The ball's not going over our head anymore because the other brothers can't do it. So if Trent's not there, let Konate have the ball there. Let Konate have the ball there. He's not going to cause us any damage. Let him stand on the ball, do this. Like, you can do whatever. And that's the same thing. And that's the same thing that City would do. The difference is because of City's patterns and stuff, they find Mahrez just like that. And Mahrez is the one that's getting on the ball. And really high advance. So that's the problem, man. That's the problem. I don't think people deep. He's not like Trent's not this world all-roundly good footballer. He's not just an all-roundly good footballer. He's a good player, and he's got a wand of a right foot. So you need to, obviously, if you've got the right foot, you need to utilize the right foot, of course. But apart from that, has he got ridiculous pace? No. Has he got does he score? Did they score headers? Does he make third runs from midfield? Does he score? Is he a threat on set pieces? Does he go and play that type of De Bruyne pass where a slide rule pass or Gundogan pass where he's in the center of the pitch and he's played that pass in between the gaps, in between the two centre backs, and the man runs onto it? I've never gone and seen that.
Yeah.
I'm never going to see that. It's always a whipped pass, which is fair. I'm not disputing the guy. It's ridiculous. But has he gone and got that? Look at. I actually urge people to go and look at like a compilation of like a De Bruyne, and you know what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the swazzy long like Hollywood passes. I'm talking about the passes where man's running and he just slips it into that gap.
Yeah.
And the position that Trent's going to be in, he's going to have to go and do that. How many times did he have the ball on the edge of the box? And you get in the edge of the box and he's standing there, and it's like, if he doesn't shoot, he's going to have to pass it out wide. Whereas you want him to be a bit more decisive in those situations. But that's a Modric type of esque player. That's a Camavinga. But they're not going to have. You're talking with these are world, like Trent's not the best in that position. So what we're doing now is we're saying, cool, let's put him in DM. But is he the best DM that you can get? Is he better? Is he better than Enzo Fernandez in that position? No. Is he better than Kante in that position? No. Is he better than Rodri in that position? No. So I've just named you 3 players now. Is he better than flipping who I think he got? Is he better than Eriksen in that position when Eriksen plays deep, or Casemiro? No. So I just named bare players now where he's not better than them, and you can see it whilst he's on the ball. And Victor Jones was saying I underrate his technical ability. No,
they're not feeling the way you're underrated, man.
No, people, and I agree, LFC Aaron. Like, we actually just need to try. And you're right. I might be like, he might go and prove me wrong. But what I'm saying is, Victor, is I think you're misunderstanding technical ability for just an ability to go and do a ridiculous thing. So, great example. Shearer could whack a ball. His technique of whacking a ball is ridiculous. But does he take the ball down? Can he bring the ball down the way Mahrez does?
JJ, no. Can I just interrupt here?
When you see Trent, does Trent play how Dani Alves was playing? When you talk about all-round footballers, does he play the same way? No. He doesn't. Does he play like a Coutinho? King Klopp just said. No, he doesn't. There's a certain, when you're talking about just players that can play football, he can't go and do that. But he has a world-class ability. I'm not taking that away from him.
And I've said this many times on your channel, JJ. This is why I say there's different ways of measuring technique. Because when a man says to me, Trent's a technical ball, I'm like, no. When it comes to striking off the ball, a set piece, a dead ball specialist, playing a pass, he's one of the best in the world. Definitely, probably top 5. But if you're gonna ask him to, I don't know, bring it down from 40 yards in the sky, or technique when it comes to certain shot, there's different ways you measure it. And I know exactly what JJ's saying. The technical attributes you have to have as a central midfielder, I don't think Trent necessarily has that. Dead ball, yes. The ping, yes. But I completely understand what JJ's saying. And I feel, this isn't me being rude, I feel like if you've not played ball, you may not understand what JJ's trying to say. But there's so many different... But JJ's not disregarding Trent.
Great example. Great example quickly, yeah? Verge, we call Verge a Rolls Royce of a centre-back, right? A Rolls Royce of a centre-back. He can't move in the same way Thiago moves. He doesn't get and do all of this and hopscotch and get past his... He don't do that. But for his position, yes. But for his position, he's technically advanced. He's technically, yes. So when Gary Neville is waxing lyrical over Trent, of course, he's thinking, in terms of right backs, this spread is ridiculous, man. Spraying passes left, right, centre, whipping them in. Like that. Gary Neville can't comprehend that, and that's facts. A Carragher can't comprehend how good technically a Verge is. Do you know what I mean? He can't. But that don't mean, like, we're not talking about Messi technique where Messi can drop into midfield and you're like, oh, okay. You can go left wing, right wing, up front. It doesn't matter. You just play football.
I'm like, would we all sit here and say Hazard is a technical football player?
100%. I would 100%.
Well, Hazard?
But,
of course.
But certain positions... No, go on.
I was going to say, cool. Let's just say, I don't know. You might say no. I don't know what you're going to say. Wrong. But let's just say we're all in agreement to say, yeah, Hazard is a technical.
G, your audio.
Yeah,
no. Yeah, it was like cutting out and cutting in and cutting out and cutting in.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I think so.
Now, all I was saying was, when it comes to, like, say, a Hazard, for example, I've never seen Hazard make a 50-yard pass, for example. Whereas I've seen Trent obviously make that 50-yard pass. So when you're trying to make that comparison where people are like, oh, yeah, well, he's techie. And I'm like, I mean, Hazard's techie. And I ain't seen him do no 50-yard pass. As an example, I'm not saying he's never done it. I'm not saying he can't do it. He probably could do it if he really wanted to. But that's just not his type of game. So then when we're looking at, say, someone like a Trent, I guess the only thing we can look at is his technique of striking a football. Alan Shearer, his only tech is striking a football. As his all-round play, I wouldn't call them technical players, if that makes sense. But that's just my way of looking at it, so to speak.
Yeah, a great example, right? Letitia and Shearer. Yeah. Letitia, if anyone's watched, go have a look at Letitia. Your mic is messed up a bit, you know. But Letitia is someone, that's what I'm saying. Left foot, right foot, takes the ball down, the touch is there, everything's in motion. You can swivel on the ball and retrieve it, right? Trent can't go and do that. Now, I'm not slighting him. Not a lot of players can do it. It's like saying, is like Thiago's on another level to Trent. But Trent's got a better long pass than him. Like that's not taking it away from that. He's got a better long pass than him. So, and big up to Ram. I actually can't get up, but you're right, Ram. When you're saying there, short story. If you want to play Trent in the middle, we have to accommodate a lot, and you mean a lot. That's exactly it. That's exactly it. We just have to accommodate a lot.
And then much better. My fear is, with us accommodating a lot for Trent, does that then take away from other positions? So
but of course it does, because if you're talking about Robbo now, it's a change of like the whole team's got to now change. If Robbo now changes, Robbo can't be as advanced. So Robbo's got to attack in and do the Aspilicueta role where he's playing that as a third centre back. Now, that's what I'm saying. So as we can see there, it's the three at the back. Trent's not dropping into that hole. He's never doing that. So you need to go and play three at the back. He's not going to.
But look, when we're going forward, though, like there's only two men at the back. Like I don't know. Like I just don't feel.
But this is what I'm saying. There was only two men at the back, but to be fair, Robertson wasn't as high in that game. If you remember, Robertson didn't near bomb forward nowhere near as much as he usually does. But
look at that. Why you're speaking, God, man.
Yeah, so he doesn't bomb forward nowhere near as much. But it just didn't make like I said, it doesn't make any sense. And I was literally just about to say this, G. Let us know who number 20 is. Let us know who number 20 is.
People in the chat, who is number 20? I beg, let me know who is number 20. I beg you. Because if it's not some centre-back that we signed randomly in the summer, if it's not a defensive midfielder that I've not heard about, and maybe I just didn't catch that substitution, let me know. Brother, no, Roms, no, look, guys, look at the map. Sorry, Jerry, I know you're out of shot at this moment in time, but look at the map. He is behind Robertson, who is our left back. So someone explain to me what role, and this is why I said when it comes to Klopp and Klopp come like the guy where he can't do that. So don't try to do it now. Don't try rock Amiri jeans when that's just not your thing, man. Just keep to your H&M, your Zara's. Like, you're good in them. You know what I'm saying? Like you're good in those kind of garms. Like I don't mind you in them. Bro, number 20 is supposed to be playing in some form of an attacking role. You know what? Fuck it. Let me not even say that. How about number 20 was supposed to even just be playing in midfield somewhere? How are you behind Robertson? And I'm seeing Trent is in this kind of position where I'm like, so where's Henderson playing? This is why I asked everybody. This is why I was so confused and why I had to do a show on this, because I was like, all right, so we just saw that map here. Now look at the way City do things. Now I don't see no attacking midfielder in their team dropping behind any three at the back who's playing at the back there. They've got the three there, they've got the two in midfield, they've got the four in attack, and they've got the one striker. Let's just say the one attacker, shall we say.
The difference is, G, and this is what I'm saying to you, is that if you get that up again and just look at that. The City one. Yeah, the City one. Yeah. Akanji, who's number 6, right?
Oh, he's number 6. Okay, he's
yeah. They trust the team requires me, if I'm Gundogan, number 8, or I'm De Bruyne, number 17, I am not dropping deep for shit. I'm standing in that half space. I'm either standing in between the two centre backs, or I'm standing in the half space, and I'm coming off that line, and I'm like, you pass me the ball. I'm not dropping deep like that unless the whole team's dropping. I'm not coming to get the ball. I'm not doing all of that type of nonsense. It's you pop the ball into my feet, and if you can't pop the ball into my feet, you don't play for my team. That's essentially it. You don't play for my team. Yeah. You can see everything's clear. I spoke about number 26. I spoke about number 26, which is Mahrez. What happens? Yeah. Number 25, when Akanji gets the ball, what happens? Boom, fires it into Mahrez. Great analysis actually from Gary Neville and it was actually Gary Neville on Monday Night Football. He actually explained that in the game that we played them earlier when Cancelo was playing, because Cancelo starts as a right back, he's actually on the halfway line or behind the number 17, which is De Bruyne. So
okay.
he's in that space there, in that gap between, like, he would be there. Although he's advanced, he'd be there, right? Which is like, it's great for them, but it means that Robertson can deal with that very easy because he's high up and he can press high up and get it. What happens there with Mahrez? Mahrez pretends to go short and spins in behind. Or De Bruyne starts higher. So Robertson thinks he's got De Bruyne. De Bruyne goes and rushes out and comes short to go and get the ball. Robertson's got to follow him. What happens? De Bruyne, first time passing to Mahrez. There you go. Robertson, where are you? But it's just structurally, you can see everyone knows what they're doing.
But Jerry, but then I don't understand why number 20 is still like everything you just said.
Because
but I hear what you, but I agree with everything you said.
Yeah, no, but it's because, but the reason why that is because if you look at this, you can see Stones, Akanji, Ruben Diaz, and Ake, right? So Stones is number 5, Akanji's 25, Diaz is 3, and Ake 6. They've rotated, but you've still always got the threat at the back, and of course Stones comes into midfield to go and draw. I think it would have been Jota. Jota's following Stones. So Jota follows Stones on the left-hand side. So Jota follows Stones inside. It means that when Robertson's got the ball, he ain't got an outlet. Because De Bruyne is just going to stand in front of that passing lane. He's going to be like, yeah, go on, try pop it into me. Well, I can't. Oh, shit. I've got to pump it long. That's all we did that game, right? Yeah. If you go back to the other formation, right? You have Konate, who's not come out wide really, because he hasn't. Urge is not covering the center, so the center is not really covered. So the center is just open because the gap's too big. You have then Robertson, who's like, I should be back because I know Saka's there, but I also want to bomb forward and get forward. So he's doing there. And Jota, as a result, has been like, Ben White's getting on the ball now. But that ball over the top is just there into Saka. So I've just got to cover that space because that space, that's the channel that they were trying to play in as well. That Saka channel. So he just had to go and cover that. Gakpo's playing centre, but Gakpo's been like, you know what? I need to shift across and stop that pass going into Partey. Jones is obviously our best midfielder, but he's trying to do his thing and he's in position. Fabinho's in position. Trent, you're in position, I guess.
But do you think, like, okay, so without making fun, obviously when you see their, like, obviously they've had time to do this, so obviously time has been on their side, so I'll give them that. I can't. We just tried it for one game. But do you think this is why me, you, Roms, and various other people, but me, you, Roms, obviously we've done the show at the beginning of the year speaking about Liverpool and formations. Do you think that when you see things like this is why we mention about playing three at the back? If you're going to do what you were trying to do at the weekend, because when you do that, so to speak, I'm not saying it's going to be exactly the same. We don't play the same football, but it seems like we're trying to play the same football as Manchester City now. Do you not then get this level of kind of cohesion in terms of player positions? Everyone's relatively organized, know what they're doing. As you said, they trust each other enough. They trust, all the players trust each other in that team. As you said, bro, if you can't pass me the ball,
that's what it comes down to. JJ alluded to it a lot, and you're saying it now. It's trust. It's that main word. It's literally just trust.
Because otherwise you get this kind of thing where I'm like, obviously this is just the average position. I'm not saying that they stood here in every part of the game, but this is more or less where they were for the 90 minutes of that match. So when I'm looking at this, I'm just like, it doesn't even tactically even look like it makes any level of sense. I don't really understand. It's like, I understand almost everyone's individual role. If I didn't know who number 20 was, if I didn't know who 66 was, if I just thought, all right, this is 11 players, and you just asked me to name you what were their roles, so to speak, I could probably tell you everyone's role kind of within that. I probably would think number 20 is a defensive midfielder, but I would still think, okay, cool, these are their roles, blah, blah, blah. But this is why I say, and why I'm asking you both here, is this the reason why maybe three at the back, whether this season or next season, might be the best thing for if you're trying to genuinely incorporate Trent in that position? Otherwise, why are we bothering? Like, what would be the need? Is this our new DM for next season, alongside Bajcetic, alongside Morton, alongside Fabinho if he stays? Now we've got so many DMs. Why are you buying another one? Now we just need to get that centre mid. Tyler Morton, like, bro, like these are all the type of. These are the type of players that I'm talking about. Where Fabinho, Trent, Bajcetic, don't know who else can even play in that position. Tyler Morton, yeah, that's 4 men who can play in that position already. Now we're just looking at Bellingham. Maybe if he can't get that one done, okay, cool, we move on. So you're just looking at 2 8s now potentially. Are we trying to lessen that? Is that something that you think can work? Like, I'm just confused because I'm looking at that just baffled.
But this is what it is. Is Trent the type of player, right? Even at right back, I actually want to ask you guys: do you think he like dictates a game, like in terms of like dictates it in the same way a Cruz does or Modric did against us?
No.
You man might laugh, yeah. You man might laugh, JJ.
I don't think we've been in his locker.
But you've actually mentioned him before, but it was early in the season, and I've been watching him of recent. Carl Walker-Peters is a good example. I've seen, and by the way, before people run away with this, I'm not saying he's better than Trent at all, but due to his technical ability and his IQ, I've seen him run games for Southampton are poor right now. I know that, and they're sitting bottom of the table, but I've seen him run games from that position. Like you're saying, JD, 1-2's popping it off, getting it back, playing through balls into Amara, or it might be a Dozy. I've actually seen him do it from that fullback position.
Maybe so, but what I mean is like, in that position, if he's playing, he is, man. He is.
Is he that bad? Like?
It's bad, man. It's bad that he's all there having to come out that I'm going to prove the doubters wrong and all of this. Like it's been terrible.
He's already taking Klopp's. Like he's been taking a leap out of Klopp, doubters to believers and that. He's perfect for Liverpool. Go on.
Yeah, trust me. But is because he can't dictate a game in the same way. For instance. We spoke of Rico Lewis earlier, right?
Yeah.
Like early in the season. The reason why you like Rico Lewis is because you said, he's a right back, but he ends up in centre mid and he's dictating the game. Like he's the one who's deciding that ball's going out wide to that fullback. That's going out wide. It's not about playing that Hollywood pass and giving away possession. It's about keeping possession, but being able to dictate the tempo of the game and stuff. Now, I don't think Trent's able to do that. Like I haven't seen that. That's not his type of. That's not his game. He's not like a Jabi Alonso type of. Do you know what I mean? Type of player. He's not. He's not a player in the same way Alarm was, where Alarm moved into midfield and started to dictate play. He didn't break up play. He was in there because of his intelligence, him knowing when to go and switch to pass, when to go and reverse that pass into it. So if we've got Trent playing, not being able to go and do that, we're going to need someone to do that. So if we're playing this formation, he's there for that long pass, and this is why I go back to it. Who's there dictating the play? Because if you go back to the map that you had of Ross when you play against Arsenal, there's about 4 or 5 players that are playing their position correctly. You could actually, if you the other one, against the Arsenal game, So you could mirror that with the City one if you could. And Salah, Hendo, Fabinho, Jones. They're the ones actually in the right position.
Quickly, you lot. I don't really know the numbers. 18's Gakpo, 70's Jones, innit?
Yeah. So they're all in the same positions that the City players are in. And when you think about it, what type of players are they? Look, you have Mahrez, that's Salah, right? You have Henderson just behind him, which is number 17, Kevin De Bruyne. You can see it there. Number 10 is obviously Grealish. Arjota's gone. You have Gakpo, who's not in the right position, but number 8 is Gundogan. Who's R8? It's Jones. They're in the same kind of area. Then you've got Fabinho, who's just in the centre, and Rodri, number 16, in the centre. So they're the ones in the right position. And when you think of the type of players they are, they understand the game. Like they know what they're having to go and do, regardless what you think about them. The rest of them don't know what they're doing. Virgil doesn't want to play in the centre because he likes being on that left and having that space to go and cover. Because playing in the centre is actually quite awkward. Like even me, I don't like playing in the centre of a back three. I don't like it. You then have Robertson, that's not a centre back like a Kanji, so he's not going to go and keep his discipline. You then have a Trent who comes into midfield, but he doesn't do it in the same way as Stones does. He does it in a way like, I'm just coming in here, but I don't really know what I'm doing now. There's no thought process behind it. So that's fine. You can play that way. But if you have no plan behind it, you're now going to need all these other players to go and do this properly. So a Konate is going to have to be better. Verge is going to have to be better. You're going to need a different. Either Robertson's going to have to fix up. You're going to have to get a replacement for Robertson because you won't be able to play there. You're going to need. Yeah, it's difficult, man. It's difficult. Like we're just trying to make jollof with cucumber, bro. Like it's just not working.
Yo, first and foremost, for anyone out there, you cannot do that. Just letting you know. Secondly, pick up Abdul. Left a comment here. I'm sorry, but you're chatting. Wham. Do you man not see Trent against Leicester a couple of years ago? I don't think he played central midfield in that game. I can't remember. I feel like he played that game as a right back.
A couple times, but he was predominantly right back.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, this is what I'm saying. And big up Angel, obviously 1968. Trent Dominant again. Listen to the beginning of the video and maybe you probably missed it again. We're not here to criticize Trent or nothing. We're just here to kind of speak about this new role and everything. And obviously, we're just looking at it from a case of looking at Trent's abilities, looking at everything that Trent can bring to the team. Do we think that this is a position for Trent? At the end of the day, guys, let's be real. This midfield stinks like shit. Like it's shit. It's dry. It has nothing in there. Thiago is just sprinkling dust on shit. Like there's nothing for me to look at that midfield and be like, oh my goodness. So of course, when we see someone like Trent moving into that position, I'm not saying that he can never do it. There could be a role for him in that position, in that sixth position. I just think the way that it's been played, Jerry just said it there a second ago. When Trent's coming into that midfield, it's like he don't really know what he's doing there. But when we're talking about Stones, let's not act like Stones is fucking Modric. You get what I'm saying? Stones is a banging player, by the way, but he ain't no Modric. You know what I mean? He ain't been doing this for 10, 15 years, Ballon d'Or levels. Do you get what I'm trying to say? But when we're watching these kind of players, why is it that Rico Lewis, he just came yesterday. Why am I watching these players come in? It's because of the job that they're being asked to do, bro. That's all it is. The job that Trent's doing is, I'm the right back. I'm going to do everything I was doing at right back, but just in the center of the park. That for me you can't just translate everything you've been doing there. Yeah, it's not really transferable, bro. So that's why I'm trying to look at it and think to myself, okay, so maybe there might be another way in which we can play this. Maybe there might be a different way in that Klopp can utilize what he thinks Trent's best abilities is. And Victor put up a comment and he was mentioning about playing Trent in like a new position and stuff like that, potentially like a 10 or something like that. I'll find the comment in a sec. But I was like, to be honest, you probably would have to do something like that. Yeah. The thing is, and hear me out for a sec. I'm not saying I never want to see Trent in the 10, but the reality is,
I know you. I'm just saying that the reason why. Go on. I was going to say the only reason for me that's mad. Klopp's blueprint doesn't even involve a 10. We know that's it. The examples are the Shakiris, the Firminos, the Carvalho. Again, the natural 10s he doesn't even play.
Bro, but Roms, every single player you named there they've got a certain profile about them. They're jinky majinky. They can cut in. Like, their brothers not. Come on, are you taking the piss?
That's what I'm saying.
You think he's like Mahrez or like he's not. He's not that type of player. That's not a slight on him. No one's criticizing him, but it's just not him. It's like someone trying to go and tell me that Konate's bare flary on the ball. What are you talking about?
Anyone who says Konate's flary on the ball, bro, I don't want to hear you talk. I don't want to hear you talk.
It's like someone trying to tell me that Konate's technically better than Stones. Like it just doesn't make any sense. Like cool, I hear you. I'm not saying he's not better. I'm not saying Trent's not better than XYZ in terms of doing this long ball. But there's a certain profile. Are you guys trying to tell me that Trent in the 10, it's not about just playing him there because it's his Sunday league? Is he the best option that Liverpool have currently in the 10? No.
I don't think he's top 5.
That's my point. He's not the best option they have in the 10. Is he the best option they have in midfield, even though it's stinky? No, I don't. Milner's better than him in midfield.
I agree.
Henderson's better than him in midfield. Jones is better than him in midfield. Just because he's got an ability doesn't mean he's better than him in that position. Like this is what I'm trying to get at people. It's like, yes, these Predators might be shit in midfield. He's not better than him in midfield. Like you just said, Roms, there's one game he's played in midfield. A man are trying to tell me that he's the best option in midfield.
A rebuttal to LFC Aaron, yeah.
But Rams, we're going to wrap up soon anyway, otherwise I'll tell you.
I would say modern day. No, I agree with you, Aaron. Yes, once upon a time, if you
Roms, let me cut that. What type of number 10s are there? Dele Alli, you got your goal scoring number 10s, or you got silky number 10s. What other number 10s? Think of the number 10s. Platini, Zidane. How far back do you want me to go?
That's what I was just about to say. Listen. That's what I was about to say. The Riquelmes, the Rui Costas, the Zidanes, the Platinis. I agree with Aaron. I agree with Aaron if you're talking about that era, the late 90s, the 90s, the early noughties. Now, like JJ said, you've only literally got, you either have to be goal scoring or you're silky. Trent is neither. There's no in between.
No. But Roms, what did you say about the 90s? What number 10s were there that weren't that?
True.
I've gone back to the 80s and 70s. I said Platini, bro. Maradona. Number 10s. What are we talking about?
You know, when you think it, I just don't think that's his role.
Number 10s. Number
that's
10s.
Crazy.
Like Totti, bro. Del Piero. What am I trying to tell me? That Trent's that. I'm gonna lose my mind, bro. I'm gonna lose my mind. Hold on. Someone said, oh yeah, big up to yourself. I think it was Abdul saying, why is he so hesitant to try him? Do you know why I'm hesitant to try him? Because we're gonna go and do this, but we've got number 10s and other players in that position that are better than in that position. I'm not gonna go and try. This is my point. It's like, do it. I don't care. The season's done. You can go and play a 2 at the back. I said I was watching the game. I was like, rah, he done something. But come on, man. Hold on. Jerry, come on. Trent is better than Jones, Milner, and Henderson in midfield. Trent can be De Bruyne in midfield. No, he cannot. He can play a long pass. He's got.
That's what they're using. They're using that ability.
He's not creating in the same identical way to De Bruyne. Let's stop this.
But Jerry, do you know why? I think it's just because we see, and this is why numbers can skew a lot of things. And you know,
I know what I mean? This was coming on to my point. Go on.
Because we see the stats and the assists, and we're thinking, rah, he's getting assists like Kevin De Bruyne. All right, so let's start taking into context who Kevin De Bruyne is and what he does in his team and what Trent does. Trent is not getting. I'll promise you now, if Trent plays in this new DM position, he'll get less than 5 assists next season. I'll put that out there right now.
No. He can have a banging season. He's not.
No.
Yeah, banging numbers. He's not ever getting. If he's playing in midfield, he's never getting those 20 numbers. He's never gonna get the goals that De Bruyne gets. He's just not going to. He's not going to, brothers. Like let's.
Hey, Marquez said you can breathe, bro. Just breathe, my guy.
Bro. Do you know where it is?
Big up Abdul, by the way.
Yeah, big up Abdul, man.
Both ways.
Yeah, big up to Abdul, 100%, and big up to Victor as well. I like this saying, look, in terms of technical ability, I think Trent is up there with Kevin De Bruyne. I'm telling you, he's not. I'm telling you, if they had a technical thing, they were like, yeah, you've got to dribble around these cones and do this, and you've got to slap that with your left foot, slap it with your right foot. You've got to catch this on a half volley. Yeah, some of the striking elements, Trent might even win. I agree with you, bro. I agree. But I'm telling you now, running at full speed and playing a weight perfect pass. Going and rolling the ball onto your left foot and then dinking it with your left foot. That's a different level of ability.
This is why I know this isn't about this player, but Ram and Ish, this is at YouTube. If you're watching Ish, big up yourself in New York. But this is why I don't want a JWP, because Deadball, him and Trent, excellent. But like JJ said, again, it comes back if you've actually played the game. This isn't.
Hold on, Ward Prowse is the best midfielder in the league, right? He's on par with De Bruyne in terms of what they do.
Exactly. If you're gonna go by that,
But that's my point. That's or big up to K Mac just said that. Are you trying to? Why not play Robbo in midfield then? Why not play Robbo left wing? Why not play Robbo left wing? Where is he's fast?
That's my point. Like Jay said,
no. Cancel the show. Cancel the show. Read what Victor just wrote. I'm done. I'm not speaking anymore. I'm done.
De Bruyne can't even dribble so well. Like
have you watched him? Have you watched him?
Hold on. Remember when he nutsed my man? When he done the Creft turn and nutsed it. Hey, I'm done. I'm done.
Fair enough.
Actually,
Look, Victor, big up your damn self. We respect all
Yeah.
opinions here. At the end of the day, if you think he can't dribble, then you think he can't dribble. That's all I can even say to that, because the reality of that is that I can see that, Victor, yourself, I can see you obviously putting KDB and Trent in the same kind of conversations. For me, they're not even in the same kind of planet, because they just do two different things. So it's like it's I couldn't really I don't compare them in that kind of way. And I wouldn't, even if they both got the exact same numbers or whatever. I just couldn't even compare them. But like Kevin De Bruyne is like the silky kind of / can do the industry. Like Rom's even mentioned this before when we had that conversation about Kevin De Bruyne and Steven Gerrard. And I was like, you know what? I couldn't really compare the two because of the roles. But Kevin De Bruyne can do industry. He can do that shit. I've seen him.
Had that convo, and I was like, I understood your point, but if you actually deep it, he just doesn't do it.
He just doesn't do it.
To do it as much. Yeah.
That's it. He doesn't have to.
Gerrard had to, because he was the main center. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Whereas, obviously, and that's obviously to that. But yo, the dribbling thing, I don't know, man. You might have to rewatch that one. Again.
I can't lie, Victor. Again, big up yourself. Respect your opinion, but that big up, Kaz. That's crazy. Because I've seen Kevin De Bruyne slalom. You know in cold country like Switzerland and that. I've seen him literally slalom through the paint. That is crazy that he can't dribble. Crazy.
But this is what I'm saying is that
by the way, De Bruyne was 24. Sorry, by the way, De Bruyne was 24 when he joined City. Yeah.
Was he 24?
Yeah.
How does he been there?
He's been there for a while, isn't it?
2015.
Yeah.
In 2 years, it'll be 10 years. 2015.
Right, but he's
been
there for a minute
right now. So yeah.
Been there for a minute. Big up D1 Millie, man. Big up D1 Millie every time. Look, at the end of the day, guys.
Kaz, they try to say that. Just so he knows, they try to say De Bruyne can't dribble. They said De Bruyne can't dribble just like Trent. They said they dribble the same.
You see, look, and big up, Basti 1%. The same Liverpool fans that shit on Beckham call Trent a playmaker. He has a great whip. That's it, and the odd long range goal. First of all, Trent ain't scoring no long ranges like that. As in, he's one of them players that you'll be mad surprised if he scored from outside the box and it wasn't a set piece kind of thing. So that's that thing. But when it comes to shitting on Beckham, I mean, I never really shot on him. I just didn't think he was that good. Kind of thing. I just never really rated him. I looked at Beckham probably the same way I look at Trent. I'm like, you got this one thing in your locker. But you got this one thing in your locker that you are just solid at, kind of thing.
The difference is
Beckham was doing it in a time where no one was really doing what Beckham was doing, like scoring free kicks at the rate he was scoring them, being able to whip a ball in a sixpence, all these kind of different things. Now everyone's kind of doing what Trent is doing in a sense, just not up to. Obviously, I'm not saying just not up to that level. But yeah, go on, Rob.
This goes down to tactics and the manager. This is why Fergie was a genius. He understood. Don't get it twisted. I did rate Beckham a bit before my time, but from what I've seen, I did rate him, yeah. But Fergie recognized, you know what? You've got an ability that rarely everyone has. Let me what's the word? Not amplify it. There's a certain word. Yeah, let me utilize it to the most, to the maximum capacity. That's why he gave him that right midfield role. And look, he excelled in it. The trophies, numbers, the clubs he played for, they all speak for itself. But where Klopp, this is why, and we said it many times, right? Kind of to hide Trent's, not even hide them, but to nullify Trent's deficiencies, you then need to put him in another position. Because I guarantee you, if Fergie had this team, Trent wouldn't be playing where he is. 100% he wouldn't be playing where he is at all. But that, you know what, yeah, when people criticize Trent, yes, a lot of things are naturally that he just can't defend. We know this, but I do share a bit of the blame on Klopp. I do. And the only, again, we've said this many times, the only reason why when it was going so well, you didn't see this is because he had legs around him to cover it. But recent times, like this season, and let's say the last 18 months, I have to share it. I have to share the blame with Klopp because it's like Klopp is just helping to expose him. Do you know what I mean? But that's just my opinion on
this comment from Mark A. It's too elite. Like, it's so simple, but it's just too elite. Just go out and buy a fucking DM, bro. How about you just go out and buy a fucking DM, bro? Instead of you out here flipping trying to promote Bajcetic, and he looks okay, but I guarantee we probably won't see him in the future. Something will happen to him. Fabinho looks like he's older than my dad was. Bro, just go out and sign a bloody DM to do the role that you want your DM to do. Hence why, obviously, the transfer window is closed. Why I want to see what Klopp does, because I think this summer window is going to be more on Klopp than it is on how much money he actually has to spend. I said, we're seeing him play Trent there. Well, man didn't play Trent there for the sake of just playing Trent there. I feel like he, in his eyes, he actually has an idea in his mind to think, you know what? I don't even need to buy this many central midfielders, I don't really need as many midfielders everyone keeps saying. As I said, Tyler Morton. Yeah, I'm trying to say Harvey Elliott, Curtis Jones, Jordan Henderson. Like, these kind of guys are going to be stalwarts in the team at some point in time. So I think he's looking at some of these players and thinking, yeah, I think this is moving. This is it. This is me kind of moving forward, especially with Trent there as well. Trent can kind of slot in there. He can do that John Stones thing. He can do that Cancelo thing. He can do this inverted role where we feel like, okay, cool, he can do that. And I'm not saying that he can't ever do that role. I just think that that role needs to be implemented a lot better in order for you to even see a better version of Trent in that kind of position. Because the reality is, we're seeing Trent in this position where Klopp's kind of basically said to him, yo, all right, you know what? You're going to be the right back, but we're going to kind of, as Rom said, we're going to negate all your defensive kind of abilities. Now we need Hendo or someone out there. And when we looked at the map earlier on and we saw the positioning of all the players, they're not even doing that part right. So we're going to continuously keep getting opened up. Jerry mentioned it before. We're still being opened up on that side. That hasn't changed. That we're still being opened up on that right-hand side. So if we're not even getting it right in that kind of area, going forward is not the problem. And I think Klopp is almost getting it a bit twisted in how he's kind of thinking, because he's turning Liverpool back into that when he joined the club 2015 to 2017, where going forward, these men were doing a job. Yeah, they were attacking, doing this and blah, blah, blah. Defensively, we just look shit. We just look like we would just be open up at every given opportunity. I feel like he's almost gone back into that mode. And that's what's pissing me off, because I'm just like, what made you so defensively sound was the way that we were set up in ways to allow us to be able to bomb forward and stuff like that. So that's the bit that's kind of confusing me, the most. But I don't know.
Sorry, G. What Bassett said. Bro, I've been thinking that myself at 6:39.
The real question is Trent chopping. I don't know, my guy. Like, the man needs to see put back and phase or something. I don't know. Like, I need to see a different type of new Trent next season. Like, I want to see Trent come on some crud. Bruv, cut the whole thing off. How about that? Buzz cut.
Before I step in the video, I just wanted to look a bit neater. Like, no, just be a bit more presentable. Bro, I saw the corner taken quickly against Barca this morning. I just saw it on the TL. And like, he had the trim, it looked calm, like he looked more presentable. Like, just clean up, bro. Be immaculate.
Maybe he thought he's getting older. He don't want to look like a little boy, so he needs to grow out their hair. And I'm just like, now you just look just dirty. It just doesn't really make any sense, bro. Like, you don't really look like someone who's, really out here doing the job. But, it is what it is, man. And I think moving forward, I think for Liverpool, it's going to be interesting to see how Klopp kind of implements that kind of style, that kind of tactic in terms of how Liverpool are going to play moving forward. But obviously, we're going to bring the show to a close then. Guys, in the chat, thank everybody for joining in. Obviously, quick conversation in regards to Trent, looking at his role. Just like to thank Jerry, just like to thank Roms again for joining me. Jerry, let the people know, man. What we got popping? What day? Yeah, today's Thursday weekend.
Tomorrow we got the preview for the Leeds game, so that should be a good one. We'll chop up. Ram's going to be joining us for that one, so should be interesting. Check us out for that. I think you guys are busy, so cool.
No, that's good. That's good. Guys, as I keep saying, man, just please keep liking the video. You know what I mean? Like, share this out. Kaz, I'm with you 100%. I've been saying this. We definitely need an Enrique because man is tired of this
Said it
dead
July
football.
2020. It's in the LSU group chat. I said July 2020. I want this guy, but
Bro,
2020.
I definitely need him. Big up K Mac as again in the chat. Big up everyone, to be honest. Victor, Abdul,
by the way,
everyone.
K Mac's got his show at 7 as well.
Oh yes, guys. Please make sure you head over to K Mac's channel at 7 p.m. That is in literally 27 minutes.
He's had a name change. Is that Chris? Oh, big up, Chris. I just clocked the thumbnail looks similar.
Come on. So yeah, guys, make sure you head on over there. I've got everyone's links obviously in the description. Anything you guys want to say before we head out?
Just
looking forward to the game on the weekend.
What game? Oh, what Leeds?
Are we ready?
It's Monday. It's actually after the weekend, but I'm just saying, just to try and enjoy. Just
it's a Monday.
Yeah, it's Monday night. It's 8 p.m.
Really?
Unless they moved it, but it was originally Monday. I think it's a Monday night football, unless they moved it. But
yeah, it's Monday. I've seen quite a few people saying Monday now as well. So
just try and enjoy football as opposed to Liverpool. Just you'll feel better. It's less stressful. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, big up everyone's locked in.
Who knows, guys? We might soon be seeing this as well. You know what I'm saying? We might see this soon. You never know, bro. That same level.
To be fair, they might be on the same level. Might be like that.
But if that's the case, then everything I thought about Steven Gerrard is just a myth. But we'll leave that for a conversation for another time. Guys, GTV, make sure you like, make sure you share, make sure you subscribe. Me, Jerry, Bronze, we are outie.